Hey there, hi there, ho there, it's Wispepedia. In just a few days, Into the Light will be released in Destiny 2. It's a free event and is meant to be a time to celebrate Destiny and help new and returning players gear up for the final shape. Today we're going to talk about the event itself and discuss my personal thoughts on what we've seen so far. If you haven't been following along the news, there are a couple of dev streams you could watch that have shown off the new activity and rewards we can look forward to. Alright, let's get started. We're going to talk about Onslaught first because it seems like it's the main focus of this event. Onslaught is all about setting up defenses for the last city before everyone takes the fight to the Witness. And in Onslaught, we'll be setting up turrets, tripwires, and other traps while we defend the tower from the Hive and other enemies. So, we're going to be setting up stuff to defend the last city and, by extension, the tower. So we're finally getting a tower defense mode in Destiny 2! Jokes aside, I do love that Bungie has been adding elements from various indie games to different activities this year. They certainly help shake up the usual Destiny formula, and I hope Onslaught continues to do this as well. More importantly, this mode is a wave-based, horde-style mode. And I don't know about y'all, but I've been wanting one of these in Destiny since way back when I started playing during the Dark Below. This is kind of a no-brainer for Destiny, and in that vein, I'm excited to just shut my brain off and fight a bunch of aliens in this mode. I'm hoping that it'll be a solid experience and that there is some variety to the mode. Unfortunately, it does look like it'll be taking place primarily on Crucible maps as opposed to new spaces, but you know what? That's fine, because now PvE players can experience the pain of always playing on the same maps that PvP players have been talking about for years. While I'd love new spaces for this mode, I do understand that it was probably developed pretty quickly, and this is free after all, so I'm personally not that upset. I do hope we get to choose between a few different locations because it will get very repetitive very quickly. I'm glad that there will be a higher difficulty version that will go up to 50 waves as well. This, combined with attunement, and more on that later, will make the grind go much faster. I'm looking forward to figuring out the new mode. If nothing else, it'll provide some fun stuff to hop into with friends, and that is always how the best memories are made in Destiny. I love getting to play new stuff with people, and it's always a good time when the community is excited about the new things. Overall, Onslaught looks like it'll be fun. Even if it isn't the most novel experience in Destiny, it will still prove to be a good time, I'm sure. So, what can we expect to earn from Onslaught? If you didn't see the stream last week, we have some very nice looking weapons being reprised for Into the Light. There are 12 fan-favorite weapons returning to Destiny 2. These will be Hung Jury, Blast Furnace, Mountaintop, Midnight Coup, Succession, Forbearance, the Recluse, Luna's Howl, Elsie's Rifle, Edge Transit, Falling Guillotine, and Hammerhead. And not only are these weapons returning, but they will also have a unique look. The weapons have all been styled in a similar fashion with gold stripes and that tiger logo. There is also the chance that we'll be able to get a drop with a unique ornament that makes them extra shiny. So if you like shiny things and or are excited to chase extra rare drops, you can go after the exclusive ornament for each weapon. Speaking of chasing drops, there is also a new system for focusing a specific weapon for your drops. This system is called Attunement. The first step is to pick up a quest from Arcite in the Hall of Champions, the new space carved out for Into the Light. Once you complete the quest, you'll be able to attune to a specific weapon, making it much more likely to get that weapon to drop from any chest you open in Onslaught. And if you play the higher difficulty version of Onslaught, you will apparently be opening a bunch of chests. I think it's one like every 10 waves. These quests from Arcite also guarantee the shiny version of the weapon with a curated role. So if you complete those quests, you will be able to get the limited time exclusive looks for all of these weapons. Keep in mind that the ornament will be locked to the specific drop of the weapon though. So that's the good news. Let's talk about the bad, but not quite as terrible as it was, news. If you're interested in what perks will roll on these weapons, there is a Bungie dev blog post that lists out what all of the weapons will have for perk combos. It's really nice to know in advance what to aim for, so everyone was stoked to see what was on that post. However, in the final paragraph, Bungie told us that only 6 Brave weapons will be available in the first week, and the rest would be added in one at a time per week throughout the event. Thankfully, Bungie has heard the community's frustration with time-gated and drip-fed content, so they will be speeding up the releases of these weapons. It sounds like they'll be releasing about 2 a week for the remaining weapons. While it's a little frustrating that they won't all be released on day 1, it will be nice that we have a reason to keep returning to Onslaught throughout Into the Light. We all know that the most engaged Destiny players would probably just farm the first 2 weeks, get the drops they want, and then quit playing. Which is fine if that's what you want to do, but I like that people will be engaged with Onslaught for a longer amount of time. It might not be the most elegant solution, but it's a good middle ground in my opinion. Overall, I'm just excited to have some refreshed things to chase, and honestly it makes me a little more excited for the final shape. Bungie is actively releasing some of the strongest weapons Destiny has ever seen. It makes me think that they're comfortable with the gear that is coming in the final shape being more interesting and potentially even stronger than what we're getting with the Brave arsenal. I guess we'll see. Speaking of, there are some things being added in Into the Light that we just got to see a sneak peek of. Let's talk about that next. There will be 3 new Crucible maps added in Into the Light. The maps are called Eventide Labs, Surus Plaza, and Dissonance. Eventide Labs will be placed in Europa, Surus Plaza is on Neomuna, and Dissonance will be in a terraformed pyramid ship, and they will be added on May 7th. It's going to be nice to have these new maps, as these locations haven't been featured in PvP yet. That alone will be interesting, but there are some other things that Bungie has said about these maps that has me particularly excited. I personally prefer playing Trials and Comp in Destiny 2 PvP over 6v6 playlists. I just always feel like 12-player matches get incredibly chaotic and it's nearly impossible to duel other players. Which is frustrating when you just get immediately melted by 2 or 3 other players once you step outside of cover. These maps have been designed with 3v3 matches in mind, which to me is fantastic. Almost all of the maps that we have currently were built for either 4v4 matches or 6v6. And it's just been so long since we've gotten maps in Destiny overall. I mean, Disjunction and Multiplex are fairly recent, but they're also much larger maps. And in 3s, it takes an entire calendar year to get back into an engagement or back up teammates if you've been killed. But after the sneak preview, these maps look pretty solid. The Neomuna map, Surus Plaza, looks particularly intriguing. The map looks like classic Halo design, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays. I'm also pretty pumped for Dissonance. While it's a larger map that looks like it will promote some long-range play, there's plenty of cover that will be fun to figure out. It looks like there will be a bunch of ways to break line of sight, which will be interesting. Eventide Labs will be interesting as well, since it looks like it will have various engagement ranges. The interior sections look like they'll be good for close-range weapons, but teams will have to be prepared to play outside on the map. The biggest thing is going to be how the maps feel to play. I'm glad we're getting new maps, don't get me wrong. It's just been a long time since we've had new maps that have felt really good to play on. If these feel better than Disjunction and Multiplex, then I'll be happy. Also, it'll be nice to get these new maps on recent locations. It'll be great to have more variety in PvP, and I'm especially excited to see how the smaller maps play. It's going to be fun to learn a new map and figure out the best routes to engage other players in Trials and Comp. Coupled with the recent changes to PvP and the Trials cards, I'm really hopeful that we see more people in Trials on the weekends these maps are featured. Playing on new maps for Trials is a lot of fun because it takes the entire community a few days to figure out the combat flow and best practices for engaging enemies. It's also fun to learn the heavy spawns and other points of interest as well. I'm looking forward to learning how the maps flow and work. I'm also excited to dive back into some refreshed exotic missions and other new PvE things coming in the next couple of months. Let's talk about those too. In the latest dev stream, Bungie revealed that we will be getting 2 returning exotic missions, the Whisper and 0 Hour. These are widely regarded as some of the best missions that have been released in Destiny. If you haven't had a chance to play them, they're a great time. Plus, the bonus is that we will also have access to a craftable version of the Whisper of the Worm and Outbreak Perfected. Also, since they're refreshing these missions, they'll have a bunch of secrets and surprises. It'll be great to see how the missions have been changed, and I'm sure the community will be pumped to figure out how to unlock the new secrets in them. Unlocking new things will also allow people to add more perks to the craftable versions of Whisper and Outbreak Perfected. Outbreak Perfected will have access to Rapid Hit, which will probably make it kind of ridiculous in PvP. Whisper of the Worm's perks are a little less exciting, but I do think that field prep and or no distractions will help with boss DPS, even if they just help hit crits more consistently. Either way, it'll be nice to run the missions, grab the catalysts, and unlock perks, and craft these exotics. They'll be pretty strong, and there's no reason not to get them. And beyond that, it's just going to be so great to have these missions back. I'd argue that Whisper has some extremely important implications for the story of Destiny in general. It took place on Io, and was the first place where we'd hear the line, "You will drown in the deep." They mentioned that Eris is going to give us more information about it, and I gotta say that I'm excited to finally get more context for the mission itself. 0 Hour is a trip. If you've played it, you already know. If you haven't, I'm not going to spoil it for you. It's a great time. Go in unspoiled. Just a heads up, Whisper will be releasing on April 9th with Into the Light, and 0 Hour will be releasing in May, probably when they drop the new Crucible maps. And each week, we'll be able to unlock new secrets and upgrade our crafted exotics. There will also be a new ship released with each mission, so get in there and run those missions. There will also be some other PvE challenges coming later in Into the Light. They mentioned a raid boss gauntlet called Pantheon that has escalating difficulty and drops exotics, emblems, and adept weapons for rewards. And that... Now that sounds awesome. I don't know exactly what it is, but they'll be giving more information about it soon. And I know I am looking forward to that information. A boss rush mode sounds incredibly good, and it's something that players have been wanting for a long time. Fingers crossed. Honestly, I'm looking forward to Into the Light. There will be new challenges, activities, and loot to chase. I'm not expecting it to fix every problem with the game, but it really isn't meant to be that. Obviously, we won't see any major shifts until the final shape, but this looks like it's going to be a fun time overall. The new Crucible maps will be a welcome addition, and I'm just genuinely looking forward to new things to do. It's been a while since we've had new things to do in the game. I'm just hoping that this brings enough fun to fill out the last couple months before the final shape. I'm betting it will. Hey, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Tell me in the comments about what roles you're going to be hunting down and do the usual YouTube things, like and sub. Follow me on Twitch to catch more of my Destiny stuff. Also, check out the Dojo Discord and my own personal Discord server, The Lantern. If you're looking for folks to play games with, I can't recommend a better community than these two. There are a bunch of lovely people there, and I've made a bunch of great friends who play a number of different games together. I definitely recommend checking us out. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you drink your water, get good sleep, and take care of yourselves. And I'll catch you next time.